everywhere. You have to sit down and ask.
Hello, welcome. My name is Obin Dako. Welcome. Today I want to share with you wealth creation. Creating wealth. I think that you should start life with that understanding. Most of us will start life believing that we will work with our talent, we will go to school, we will look for a good place to stay. Many of us will look at joining politics, starting religious organizations, traveling somewhere in search of profile and some level of standard of life. I think that if you're able to solve the wealth problem to a high level, then you will live to the best of your abilities. They have conditioned the majority of the world's population, maybe 90% or more, or maybe 99%, to work for money and to look for riches. Very few, those who don't worry about money, especially in terms of its scarcity or in terms of us managing, very few. And yet we have a lot of people who have been given all kind of professional training, academic training, all kind of false belief, so we trade our time to work for money. Most people, if they don't, the kind of work that they say they love so much, if they are not paid for continuous 6 months, 1 year, 2 months, 2 years, they will not go to work. And I think that if you find a work that you're so much passionate about, if you find a profession that you're so much passionate about, then you should be able to do it with or without the salary. So for them to shift a lot of people's mind of the wealth, they compensated us, or they compensate us with some monthly, something that they call salary. And so long as most people think in terms of salaries, then their mind will never go to the wealth creation machine. There's wealth creation at the country level, there's wealth creation at the personal level, and they all start with how we see the world, our mindset. If your mindset is right as to how wealth is created, then you will start life by designing some kind of a system, some kind of a lifestyle that will eventually push you into a stage where you create wealth. And wealth creation means that you have entities, you have businesses, you have properties, you have shares in some companies that continue to give birth to money, that continue to grow in value, which those things may not necessarily need your input. So let's say you have a machine that is just creating money for you, and that is creation, and that is wealth creation. You just sit somewhere, but you use a lot of your life to build that kind of machine. Most people's mind will never go there. So you see a lot of youth in Africa, they are looking for, if I travel to some of these countries, then I will get some money to buy a car and build a house and live my life. Meanwhile, they are sitting in wealth, but their mind is not there at all, because the mind is shifted. Some of them have a lot of properties in the villages and in our towns, but because the mind is conditioned differently, they don't see any value, they don't see any worth in it. They've been told that if you get a job in a government place, if you get a multinational job, you'll be okay. They don't know that there's a difference between having a job and creating wealth. And for me, the focus should be on creating wealth. It's not on getting a job. And once you're able to shift or know the difference, then you'll be able to live a very successful and fulfilled life, where you don't become a slave to money. So there are all kind of ways, there are all kind of things that people have used to build wealth. My focus is on our people. How do you build wealth? When we started to think of going into business, I don't think the way I am, I don't think that I will be able to work in a government sector as a government employee. I don't even think I'll be so much comfortable working in any so-called multinational or any place. Why? Because of the way I process issues, because of the way it's very difficult for me to say I can work and take instructions, but the way people attach their relevance to how much they are paid has been something that has always fascinated me. That they believe that they will be paid a certain amount of money, and that will make them worthy. That has been a thought that has always. And I remember the first time I traveled to another country, and I saw how our people were living there, and when I compared with the things that they come to say whenever they visit Ghana, I was amazed that our people could be so much oblivious to wealth creation and living. It's almost as if they were rehearsing to live another life somewhere. And yet they've been there for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and it's just about, going to work, and there's no quality of life. And that what really, for me, the misunderstanding there will be wealth creation. Because then when you set a machine, when you understand how wealth is created, then your life, you say that, okay, I'm building it, but this is what I'm noted of. And most people have never known that. And so there is something that we focus, building a business, entrepreneurship. Even though they say it's a bit tough, and it is, when it starts to work, it's one of the best things to use to create wealth. Business in any field, in anything, whether it's construction, IT, retail, mining, anything, cocoa selling, wache, computer business, any business. If you're able to build it to a certain level where you start to employ people, that thing can become a wealth creation machine for you. The other thing is properties. If you're able to buy a lot of land or build properties, if you have a structure for that, that becomes, because let's say you have about 100 unit apartment or 1,000 unit apartment, and the rent from that property can take care of you and your family for the next 200 years or 300 years if you manage them well. And which means that when your son is going to school, or when your child or your daughter is going to school, they want to become doctor, lawyer, engineer, those, yes, they will go, but they will not have to work for them to get to have salary to eat. That's the essence of creation, especially transgenerational wealth. So you build structures, you build all these things, but it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of heat. It takes a lot of knowledge. It takes a lot of content development, because the world has conditioned almost all of us to be very happy with little, and to accept that living is difficult and money is difficult to come by. And that, especially those of us in Africa, and that we cannot be successful here unless we join politics. We cannot be successful here unless we get some multinational job or government position. We cannot be successful here unless we travel. We cannot be successful here unless we start some religious organizations and collect people's money. That is the kind of thinking that most people have. But to start life, structure your life and build the wealth machine, most people don't have that kind of education, because then they will say that, how do I start that business without capital? How do I build that wealth without? The first thing you need is the right knowledge to do what you have to do. Starting life with the right understanding. And for me, if you want anybody to start life, I would say that know that life, if you don't have a certain level of wealth, life is tough. Life will screw you. Car requires fuel to move, as the body requires blood to live. Life, you require some amount of wealth to live life according to your terms. And so the wealthy in this life don't saddle themselves with a lot of things that the rest of the people saddle themselves with. The wealthy are not so much consumed with what kind of course they have to read in the university, getting a job. They don't. They teach them how to create wealth and how to manage it and how to keep it for the next generation. That's what they spend their life to study. So those who have kept wealth for the last 500 years, 1,000 years, if you study those families, you will see that their focus is to teach the next generation that. And the rest of us, we are teaching our generation, our children, to go to school, pass exam, and get a job and be a good employee. It's good, but if you have to keep that job in order to have money, then you don't understand how wealth is created. You build skills, you build professional life. That's okay. There's a way that you have to contribute to society. Somebody had to create the things that we're using. That's fine. But if you have to work to eat, and without that, you will not eat. And it's your core belief that there's no other way to it, then you are operating with the wrong knowledge. You're operating with the wrong knowledge. And that's why I love business. That's why I love real estate. You can do a lot. if you study these things, you commit your life to study these things. And they are wide range areas. That's why I love when people are building things that will continue to bring some monetary value or some value without them putting all their time into it, without putting all their life into it. You build something that runs on its own. So wealth is created by systems and structures. Wealth is created by systems and structures. And those who understand this and spend time to build these systems and structures will live a wealthy life. And those who don't will spend all their time to go and work as officers, law enforcement officers, teachers, doctors, laborers, construction workers, and they get the salary and they eat. That is a good start, because most of us will not come from a family where there's wealth. Maybe your grandfather didn't leave you anything, your grandparents didn't leave you anything, maybe you are even taking care of your family. Yes, that's the reality that you are confronted with, but you have to understand that wealth is created differently. The way they keep people in bondage in this life is by hiding a lot of knowledge from them, or making people fixated on things that will not bring their freedom. So if you watch TV, for instance, it's all comedy and sports and entertainment and religiosity and politics, so people will spend all their time. For instance, now that there's social media, it's not those who are creating the content. I'm talking of those who are consuming the content, because something about wealth creation is that those who create wealth are producers. They are not just mere consumers. And so you just consume. Let's say you have 20 hours to do something, and then maybe 90% of that time you are using to just consume. You watch something, hey, I'm stressed. You're releasing your stress. Yet your finances are in trouble. Those who create wealth will use a lot of their time to build these structures and systems that will continue to bring value and to bring money, even if they are not present, or even if they are asleep, or even if they are not living anymore. So building structures that continue to create money is actually wealth. It's an automated system, that continues to give birth, and it takes a lot of time for those who didn't inherit it to build this. It takes a lot of time for those who did not inherit wealth to build wealth. And all of us, wealth is in us. We were actually born with it. The trouble is that we don't know how to bring that wealth out. God did not create us to come and suffer. God did not create that. That's why He gave you talent. That's why He gave you time. He gave you ability to fight back. That's why He gave you ability to learn. That's why He gave you that brain that you can develop. The problem is most people never get access, or never believe that they have what it takes to build wealth, or never have access to the right knowledge that will change them, or maybe they don't even think that is possible for them. And that is the challenge. But you will never see anybody who believes that you'll be able to create wealth and continue to search for that knowledge who will not find. Everybody. We believe that, and we continue to search for that knowledge, and we're building up, we're building on it one step at a time. So for you to believe that I'm in Ghana, there's no opportunity here, I can't do anything here, I have to move out, you don't know what they call wealth creation. You are in a village somewhere, you're teaching as a young man. There are a lot of lands in every school, and you feel like you're hopeless. Open your eyes. If you open your eyes, you see wealth all around you. The problem is you are consumed with negativity. You are consumed with hopelessness, and so you cannot open your eyes to see. So there's a certain amount of optimism that you have to have in yourself and in your environment to say that I can create this world, and it's built one step at a time, one block at a time, and it's a machine. It's a machine that you're building. That machine will then continuously work. It's a perpetual motion machine that works continuously if you spend time to build it. And then all of us have the opportunity to do that. I said that God created us and He gave us these gifts. The problem is ignorance. And in the good book, it says that for lack of knowledge, my people perish. So if you're perishing in anything, if you wallow in poverty, it's not because the country you come from there's no prosperity there. As people say them, there are no opportunities there. No, opportunities are created. Opportunities are not found where you go. The wealth creation opportunity is everywhere. Some people say that, oh, when I went somewhere, there are a lot of opportunities to get salary and buy a car and live. That is far from creating wealth. The opportunity to create wealth is in you. It's in you, and you build. Once you understand, once you shift that mind, you'll be able to build structures and systems around, and you'll be able to create or provide economic solutions. And the more people you create economic solutions for, the more wealthy you become. And your ability to connect with the right people, your ability to connect with the right people who have created wealth or who understand how wealth is created. That is how you. So when you finish school and you're a young person, especially a young man, young woman, never believe that wherever you are, you cannot create wealth. If you're looking for a job, that's a whole different thing. You want a nice life, easy life, simple life. But if you want to create wealth, they're entirely different things. So when you finish school and they say that I don't have a job, it means you don't have something that will give you salary. That salary, having salary is different from creating wealth. You have to focus on wealth creation, not on job. Job is a good start, but even if you're looking for job, you're looking for job so that maybe you can build some technical skills, maybe you can know how to work, maybe you can acquire some professional skills, but that will never create wealth. That's why a lot of professionals have no idea how wealth is created. A lot of professionals are obsessed with salaries and salary increment and job, and that is not wealth creation. And that's why a lot of professionals, especially in the West, run on loan. And consumer loan, loans, just personal loans for their house, loans for their car, loans for their children's school, loans for their hospital bills, and even if they die, there's loan, that is not wealth. Wealth creates abundance of money, abundance of value, abundance of wealth. And so wealth is not, I'm going to school, I get a good job, I become this, and then I get a good salary. That's a life that they define, that was created for the last 100 years. Before those years that they created jobs and their descriptions and salaries, people were wealthy. And the things that they used to build wealth, they still exist today. And there's nowhere in this world that you cannot create wealth. There's nowhere in this world. There are places that maybe you may not have a job and that pays you for you to be that much happy. But you can shift your mind from just being fixated, just being obsessed, just being so much infatuated with salary and how much you're paid and things like that, and focus on how do I create wealth. What it takes, study it. Wealth is in everybody. Everybody can create wealth. The gift that God gave you. Some people have good head to analyze issues and build things. Some people can play football. Some people can act. Some people can be politicians. Some people can even stand. Whatever that you have, so long as there's something that you have, all of us, there's something that we have that we can build with. And it always takes a small seed for that tree to germinate. And I'm saying that when it comes to wealth creation, it's ability to have that right mindset, the ability to acquire that right knowledge, the ability to have this, to build those systems and structures that build wealth. I'm saying that they mainly fall within being able to build businesses. They mainly fall within property or real estate. They mainly fall within some people going to the stock market to buy shares, even though that is very complicated for most people. So going to your village to say that, oh, the 1,000-hectare land that my people have, I want to develop it over the next 10 years. That is wealth creation. If your family has cocoa farm somewhere and you think that your family is poor, there's something that you have to know. There's something that has eluded you. And so this kind of school that we have now is creating what they call salary workers, what they call employees. It's not creating wealth. Wealth is different. The school will help you to, be able to harness information and things like that, but use that to go and build wealth. Never feel disadvantaged, never feel minimized, never feel marginalized, never feel diminished just because you can't find a job. You find a job to get salary. But you can create wealth with the talent that you came with. You just need the right information, just need the right knowledge. I'm so glad that there are a lot of people calling to say that I want your books. I'm so glad. There are so many young people now reading our books, Perspective, how to develop the mindset to start and build your business. Because that will shift the way you look at yourself and your situation. Streamline, how to teach yourself money. Streamline, how to teach yourself money. And resilience, how to develop courage to fight as an entrepreneur. Those basic things, if you have them rightly set, and you stop to, some people don't have anything, they are in difficulty, but they still disagreeing and debating the very things that will help them to launch into their freedom. You don't need that. If you're in a difficult situation and somebody says something that is very opposite to what you know, because you are at the bottom, why do you fight that which can lift you? Because if you continue on to hold on to those ideas, then you will continue to be at the bottom. But if somebody is saying that, have a second look at your situation. You have what it takes to build, and say that you don't know what you're talking about. You need capital to start a business. Everybody and the family that they come from. I need to hear from the Spirit of God before I start something. I cannot do anything in Ghana except I go to Canada. I have to get to China. Somebody has to give me a loan to start my business. No, those are not it. If you're very truthful to yourself, you hold on to good character. You believe in perseverance, you believe in hard work, you believe in knowledge, you believe in skill building, you believe in productivity, you believe that if somebody helps you out, you are there to protect that person's interest. You build good network of people and you continue to upgrade yourself. I'm never sorry for a young man who has completed school and is looking for knowledge and building himself. I'm never sorry, because I know that eventually that person will break out and build something significant with their lives. So long as I see you with a book, so long as I see you go after knowledge, so long as I see you trying to develop yourself, because a human being, the way you build capital, the way you build yourself, the way you develop is by changing and improving the way you understand life, going after knowledge. And so if I see any young man with a book trying to challenge his thought, I have hope that if you don't give up, because if you continue to build, if you continue to challenge, if you continue to learn, a time will come that those things that you have been learning will push you to a stage that you see that you have capacity now. You start to continue to have a lot of respect for yourself. You continue to have confidence in yourself. You start to see opportunities all around you. You start to believe in your country. You start to have respect for your leaders and the people around you. You start to be a person that people can depend on. You start to work hard. You start to organize your life, plan your life, have goals for your life. Those things will eventually make sure that you become successful. So the desperate is if you're desperate, is out of a lack of knowledge, is out of lack of information, is lack of belief in yourself, is lack of credibility and lack of character building. There's no need for you to be desperate. No need. So if somebody will say that when I went to school I didn't get a good course, but you can read and write. You can always get the right knowledge informally as well. Or you can even go and get formal knowledge, but that will not create wealth. What creates wealth is what I'm talking about. Having the right mind shifted, to a stage where you believe so much in productivity and resource. When you believe so much in organizing your life. When you believe so much, what do you know about money? When they give you money, your first decision on that money proves what you know about money. And if what you know about money is consuming, it's not multiplying, it's not investing, it's not building that machine, then you will continue to have that facade life. You will continue to, so people want to show you their car and their houses. And for most people, that shows that the person is rich, maybe. But to be wealthy, they have nothing to do with the car you drive or the house you live in. To be wealthy is a lot of machines that create wealth that you spend your time to build. Spend your time to build. So the wealthy have a lot of entities, a lot of machines, a lot of mechanisms that continue to produce money even when they are asleep. So maybe you tried one concept, it worked, multiply that, grow that one concept. Maybe you tried one concept at Asankragwa and it worked. What prevents you from going to Cape Coast or going to Obuasi or going to Kofodia to multiply that? Maybe you started to plant kube, coconut, and it started to work for you. And maybe it was 1 plot or 2 plot or 10 acres. What prevents you from expanding that to 100 acres? It's a machine that you're building. And that's how wealth is created. Wealth is not looking for visa to travel to Saudi Arabia. No, that is you are looking for a job. You are looking for employment. Wealth is not in you going to America to become a lawyer or doctor. That is you looking for a job with some decency or some when people talk in terms of salary and they say that they are better off in somewhere than Ghana, they don't understand how wealth is created. Wealth is created by solving problems, building these machines that can solve economic problems. And that is why we committed our lives to do, and we are building. and you're building, and you need a lot of confidence in yourself. You need a lot of confidence in the country. You need a lot of confidence in our people. You need to show a lot of respect, because wealth is built with people. You cannot build wealth and cut people out. No, somebody knows something that you don't know. Somebody knows somebody that you don't know. And so your ability to link with the right people, build the right team, will ensure that you will be wealthy. Your ability to build the right structures and systems that control and preserve the money. You have little money, you're using all that money to go and have wedding. You have little money, you're using that money to go and get another degree. Meanwhile, the first degree that you did, we don't know what you did with it. You're going to do another MBA in marketing, political science, sociology, conflict resolution. Those things, where are you going to take them? And no wonder most of them will try to get into politics, because then the politics becomes a way out for them to become relevant and to have some money. But wealth is not the one that you stole from the people. Wealth is the one that you built over time with your talent and with the gift that God gave you. My name is Wapin Darko. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch this wealth creation. Spend your life to study that. Start your life by creating wealth, because don't start your life looking for a job and looking for those good scores and all those. They are good, but they are not the main thing. The main thing is you building wealth machines. Building wealth machines, and study those. Especially because this life, they control almost everybody. Very few people are not controlled. Majority of the people have been conditioned to just go to school, get a job, look for a better salary, buy a house on credit, buy a car, pay your children's school fees, have party, have weddings, and things like that. And even if when you die, it costs money for them to get you to the ground. So don't underestimate the power of wealth. Money, they say, answers everything, especially on this earth. On this earth, you must spend your life to study this, and really that's what you teach your children. If they are not good with money, there are a lot of things that they will not be good with. If you want to understand most people's lives, give them money. Give people money and see how the decisions that we make with money, whether we are truthful or we lie to get it, whether we will just spend it or make it more productive, make it multiply. That's how we understand life. Because if you go to the hospital, you see that people are there. Mainly, some people cannot even afford the surgery, and it's money. So wherever you live now, the lifestyle that you have is direct reflection a lot of the times of how much wealth that you have in terms of money. Economic value that you have created over your lifetime. That's what whatever. Maybe if you had millions, you will not even keep that job. You will not even live at that place. You will not even wear those. You will not drive that car. Most people, if they had a lot of wealth. So money plays a big role. People have lost their lives because they could not afford the hospital bills. People have all kind of complications because of lack of money. Most people are going through the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. A lot of young Africans are going through that because they are looking for wealth. Meanwhile, the wealth is in them. The problem is that understanding they have, the mindset that they have developed over time. And unfortunately, we spend much of our life in schools and in things that continue to teach us everything but wealth creation. Everything but wealth creation. Freedom is being able to create wealth so that you live your aspirations and you change lives and add value to human life. That is wealth. That is what. So I want to say thank you very much for taking your time to watch this. Thank you.